Hey everybody, and welcome to another Wellness Wednesday. And as some of you may recognise the wonderful Bryony from our 24 days event. And also I've got Bryony here today as she has been, or is nearly completing her 15-week training course with John Monroe from Long White Clouds in QiGong. And so I've just invited Bryony here today just to explain a little bit about, what QiGong is really, the benefits, etc., and just to show us some takeaways, some exercise that we can incorporate into our daily life to start from feeling the benefits. So, hello, my darling. How are you? I love you in the studio.
Thank you. Well, it's not mine, but yeah, I'm good.
It was. No one would have known.
I wish.
True.
How are you?
I'm all right, actually. Yeah, it's a grey, miserable day. But you know what? I put some bright red lippy on today, and I just thought I'm going for it.
Yeah, lovely.
How are you? So anyway, I just wanted to start by kicking off, really, just by maybe not a lot of people have heard of what QiGong is. So what is QiGong for people that don't know anything about it?
Yeah, I think it's quite new to a lot of people, but it's definitely spreading its awareness at the moment, which is really exciting for us. But QiGong is a Chinese traditional, actually, is a martial art, but it's not as strong as, say, Tai Chi or other types of martial arts that you might be aware of. Technically, the Qi means energy or life force energy, and the Gong means skill or work. So essentially, as a whole, it's a system that's been put together of different techniques to be able to learn your own awareness of your inner energy. So they're gentle movements a lot of the time. There is some standing still postures. In a similar way to what you may have seen with Tai Chi. And it's all about us learning to be more aware and to be able to control and flow the energies within us. So all of us are full of energy, and our body will hold stagnant energy if we have ailments, maybe emotional or physical, and in fact that's what manifests into those things, but it normally stems from a blockage of an energy somewhere. So using our breath, using our mind, using our body, which is the three foundations of QiGong, we will help to keep the energy flowing smoothly through the body.
Sounds very meditative. Sounds very meditative, the breathing, just to kind of take you into like meditative state. Yeah,
so it's actually, some people might describe it as a movement meditation, which actually how I would probably very much agree, because that's how I feel when I'm doing QiGong. Especially, like you say, when you are really focusing on your breath. But it is definitely a skill. When you start to go to classes, you will be starting to learn routines, and that's only a tiny essence of QiGong. Actually, the real skill of it is being able to take it into your own life, be able to just, learn the things that you need to be able to do whenever you need them.
So what are the benefits then to a normal person? I mean, I suppose if it is like a meditation, the benefits I can see is that if I'm having to sit and meditate, I get a bit like, I get distracted when I meditate. And I can imagine if I was doing movements, and that I would be more focused on my benefits. So I can imagine I'd get a better workout. So I suppose what the benefits to that for me, or to anybody that's doing it?
Well, yeah, like you say, essentially it's still an exercise. So you still do have, the physical effect, and you actually can really feel the physical effect. You do stretch your body in some ways, similar to yoga. So you do get the physical benefits as well, but it's got huge benefits for the mind, the cortisol levels, so really good for stress relief, really good for immune boosting. it's also been known to relieve arthritic pain. The list is endless, really. Helps to balance out your blood pressure, everything really that most of these complementary therapies, which is how I see it, work, and they work holistically as a whole. So you're working your body as what it needs as a whole, rather than just looking at the symptoms.
Especially the Western world, we are quite sedentary, we are quite stressed out with in the office job, maybe office environment, not so much now running here, there and everywhere and commuting, but I still remember that was my life, jumping in the car and being stuck in traffic and being late for work, and having all these stresses that if I hadn't had these skills, that I could maybe try and do that in a car, where I could just try and relax and just try and bring down my blood pressure instead of arriving at a job like, I'm so late.
Well, that kind of brings me nicely into another, which is a huge subject, but just to keep it simple, another philosophy of Chinese medicine is the Yin and Yang theory. So with Yin and Yang, it's all about balance.
Yeah.
So they can be seen as complete opposites, but at the same time they have to be together to create that balance.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have 50-50 of each, but you have to have a little bit of yin at least with a little bit of yang.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about that fast-paced life that, well, maybe not at the moment, but normally, and actually no, some people really are, still living a busy, stressful life that most of us lead. You need to balance. That's very yang, very fast, active yang energy. So you need to be able to balance it out with yin at least a tiny amount every day. And so that would be more your relaxing, your meditation, your yoga, even just a bath, or reading time. It's needing to balance it out. But on the flip side of it, that some of my clients I've seen, they're actually always the other way around, and they're always very good at chilling. But actually then they need to have a little bit of the active side of it, and that's just such a small part of yin and yang, but it is quite obvious to see when you talk about the busy life and how people go. But it just creates that balance of having the downtime as well.
And also I can imagine this is a great exercise across all ages. I've got an elderly auntie who's in her 80s that, she's quite sedentary, but she does have to do exercises, and she does try. She can't go out of her house right now. But, something like this would be so beneficial for her, as well as my 11-year-old son, I suppose, and quite easy for them to do.
Yeah, so it's a very low impact exercise. So it, I think a few years ago, it was more known in the older age group because it was low impact. But I think now they're just starting to realise that although it's so subtle, because our energy within us is so subtle, that people are seeing the power of it, even if it's not, running around like a crazy thing, or, doing some huge yoga posture that you're tangled up in, but it's still really powerful. And that is something to note when you're a brand newbie. You may not feel very much to start with, but it is, I promise you, it is doing something. And the more and more you do it, you start to feel it. But it is subtle, and people sometimes look for, a bit like they do, lots of other complementary therapies as well, but people look for a really obvious feeling and like an electric shock or something, but you're not going to get that. It's really, we can liken the meridians, which is all the what we call rivers running through the body. That's what the Chinese believe them to be, and that's what the qi, the energy, runs through. So when we're thinking about those meridians, you can sometimes feel as if it is like a river, a wave, a floating of energy, and it's so subtle, but just keep going, and then you'll start to just start to feel it. But that's essentially what QiGong is about. It's not just exercises that you can learn and you just keep doing. It is really to learn that skill, so that you can then just take it into your daily life.
I love that. Are you going to show us some moves that maybe we could practice at home? Like,
sure. Yeah. Okay. So just are you going to do it with me?
I mean, I can try. Yeah. Why not? I'll do it with you.
So just before I do that, there's just three things to comment on. Right. So as I was saying earlier, with the foundations of QiGong, you've got mind, body, and breath.
Yeah.
So there's three different ways you can really focus in on the energy, keeping it really simple. With our mind, if we focus with our mind, picturing or imagining where it is that you are going in the body, it sends the energy. A bit like how we probably all know, our thoughts do affect our body and emotion physically, So where we put our minds will send energy. Where we put our body will send energy. So wherever our hands are in our body, the one move we do in particular, we're going to be using our hands. And you'll just start to focus on within your body itself, wherever your hands may be, that might be where you feel the flutters, because it can be sent there, with our body. And then mind, body, breath, and obviously then the breath as well. So we're starting with a breathing exercise, but yeah, our breath again can help transfer and move the energy.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to step backwards so that you can see me.
Okay. I'll put my chair back. All right.
Hopefully you can see. All right. So we're going to do some really small, quick exercises just to get a taster. But really, before you start any QiGong, it's best to start with a bit of a warm up. So we'll just warm up our arms, because that's mostly what we're going to do today. So just with your hands clenched, just rolling around. In particular now, just warming the wrists. You might hear those wrists clicking one way, then the other. And we're just standing, feet shoulder width apart. All right. And yeah, you can move the body too. We do duo. Then we'll just circle the elbows. So we're just warming up those joints. And then the other way. And then finally, one arm at a time. Just working into those shoulders. So normally you do the whole body and the other arm. You might feel some creaking, hear some cracks. Go the other way. So the first thing, once we just finish off on this arm, we're going to start with is our breathing exercise. So we're going to start with what Long White Cloud called the breath, the breath of the universe. Yeah. So we really are just trying to get that nice flow of breath. So we've got a ratio to think about, very simple. Now, when you do it more and more, you can make it much longer that you're breathing in and out for, but I'm starting with a really short taster for you. So our ratio is 2-4-2-4. So we're going to hold the breath for 2, breathe in for 4, hold the breath for 2, breathe out for 4. Okay? I'll take you through it. So just relaxing your arms, stand by your side, the feet are nicely relaxed and may have a little bend in the knees. You may want to close your eyes just to settle into the body, or you may want to just close them down slightly so you're just resting on the nose. Take a few nice normal deep breaths. And then we'll breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 2, 1. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you can continue that, and I do suggest you start with, sorry, I call it the breath of the universe, the rhythm of the universe, breath. Start with doing it for a few minutes, and then you can up it. So then you can go to the 4-8-4-8 ratio, which is essentially what you want to try to achieve. So you're holding it for 4, and you're breathing in for 8, holding it for 4, breathing out for 8. But, you know, do it slowly, because not everyone can achieve that straight away.
Yeah.
Again, with breathing, there's loads to learn with it, and I'll probably do a workshop at some point, but you then want to be focusing on way of breathing, whether it's the chest, whether it's the abdomen, or, you know, a bit of both. So there's a lot to learn with the breath, but that was a quick demo of the rhythm of the universe.
Love it.
Okay, then what we're going to do is something called lift up, fall down. So this is a QiGong exercise, and it's one where we're going to focus on, well, breath as well, but in particular our hands.
Yeah.
So I'll take you through it. Your feet are hip width apart.
Yeah.
Relaxing your hands by the sides, and you probably want to keep your eyes open just to be able to follow the movements at the moment. When we inhale, our hands are going to go up, and when we exhale, our hands will go down. Okay. So our hands first, starting palms face inward, and then as we inhale nice and slowly, our hands raise up the core of the body, palms facing up until we get to the head, and you can follow with your gaze of your eyes, and then exhaling down, palms facing down, so it's just coming up and down the core of the body. So if we've got the hands, then we'll go again, now focusing on what we might be able to feel on the internal body. So breathing in, hands come up, eyes gaze up, exhaling, hands come down. And where you might be feeling any energy could be in your hands in particular, or could be at the level of your hands within your body. Go one more time. Breathe in, coming up, palms facing up. That's it, and all the way up. When you get to the sky, your eyes can gaze at the sky, palms facing together, then exhale, palms facing down, eyes follow, exhale all the way down. So hopefully you may have been able to feel a bit of a energy fluttering going up the core of the body and down the core of the body. It might have been on the front, it might have been on the back, could have been just very subtle. But the more and more you do that, then the more you might be able to start to feel it. So that was an example of how we can use our hands in particular, and, you know, lift up, fall down is a good all-rounder, just to get the body flowing all the way through the body, because the meridian lines flow much better with our arms like this. Yeah. Even though that's our natural state, that's actually much more difficult for the energy to flow. So with our hands upwards, they flow up and down much easier. Okay.
And is there this time of the day to do these exercises?
Definitely morning is a good time, but you can do it at any point, because the more and more you know what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve while you're doing it, then there is definitely quite a few that are good at night time. Or there's different ways of just finishing the last movement so that it settles your energy better for relaxation, rather than, you know, bringing it up and stimulating it for the daytime. So there's so much to learn with it, but actually for me, majority of the time, I prefer morning. Okay, right, so the next one we're going to do is called the Microcosmic Orbit. So again, this one's a whole body, general well-being, and it's really balancing the yin and the yang. And we're going to use our hands again. So again, just settling the legs naturally at shoulder width. Yeah. And then we're going to take our hands up in the same way, all the way up the center of the body, palms up. And then as they get up to the top, they're going to turn outwards and come all the way down. Okay, So again, inhale, going up. And exhale, going down. And the last one we do again, this time we want to try and feel the energy coming up with us through the front of the body as we inhale. And that's our yin channel. And then as we exhale, we might feel energy going down the back of the body, which is our yang. So then we can repeat that in the opposite direction, because we always do it evenly. So we're going up the back, breathing in, up the back of the yang, and then down the center of the yin, the front side. Breathing up, inhaling up the back of the yang channel, exhaling down the yin. And last one, breathing up the back. And then down the yin. And it's really interesting as well when you then do these exercises that you can then play around with the speed, because there's no wrong or right. It depends what it is that you want to get out of that postural exercise. So essentially, a lot of the time it's quite slow. You could slow that down even more, or you could do it really quick, and then you get a whole different effect from that.
Oh,
okay, then finally,
love it.
Last one I'm going to do, we'll talk about, is our self-massage. So a really good thing that anyone can do in the morning is just with a loose fist, just self-massage your whole body. So we can start on the kidneys. That's a really good place, because that is where your chi lives. So we can really just gently batter the lower back. And then we come down the back of the leg and the side, up the inner, up the core of the body, and then the inner of the arm, and then the back of the arm, other arm, inner.
You like slapping yourself?
Yeah, it is like a slap, or you can even use your fingertips.
So it's a bit like tapping.
Area. It is called tapping as well, yeah, definitely. And it's actually where you come up over the forehead, the head, the neck, and back onto the lower back again. So that is essentially where the EFT, emotional freedom technique, or TFT, comes from as well. It's definitely got a very Chinese philosophy background. But I'm not going to do that one again, just to show you. You can then also get one of these bamboo tappers, which, yeah, Katie Brindle, these is where you get them, and they're really good because they're much, obviously, firmer, but you can also get to places, so your feet has absolutely tons of, well, lots of reflex points, lots of Chinese meridian points, so it's really nice to do the feet. What you can do is exactly the same way, up the body, the lower back, and you can actually get the whole back. Yeah. Still really nice on the head. And even if you just got
it looks weird,
shoulders,
it's lovely.
But it just sounds crazy. My dog looks at me like, what are you doing? But that is another really good tool that Katie Brindle has.
Yes, I love that. And I was really umming and ahhing whether to buy one, and I was like, because I've done a few little tapping courses and I've just used my fingers, and I've just like, oh, would that be any better to use that? But seeing you use it.
I do a lot of my hands, and I was taught with my hands, but I thought I'd give it a go, and I really like it because I like a firmer, stimulation.
Yeah.
But this is really good for your immune booster, definitely for the muscles as well. So you've just got sore muscles, like sore neck. I just hammer away at that. But it still is just such a stimulating technique to do. It just gets that energy flowing. So it's a good thing to do at the end of a QiGong exercise to cool and transfer
I love it.
Flow the energy.
Love it so much, Bryony. Thank you so much. I mean,
My pleasure.
I
So
could
hard
talk
to
to you
do like
forever.
this.
I really
Yeah.
could. It's such a fascinating subject and I absolutely love it. But we'll put a link onto your website so that, because people can see when you're up and running. I know you'll be doing it virtual classes and stuff. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
I'm definitely on your waiting list to do that with you. So great.
Good.
And we can put a link up as well to those, you know, the reads as well, if you like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they are good fun. It's the same lady that you recommended that book from the other day, which is also a very good read. So
yeah.
All
right, well, we'll do that. Well, thank you again so much for all of your time and just sort of sharing. Really, really appreciate it. And I can understand we've only really just tipped the surface of it, really. I'm sure there's so much more you can tell us, but thank you so much.
My pleasure, Fiona.
I'm definitely going to be doing those exercises. I just feel it's just being more focused, isn't it, on your breathing and more aware. And as we keep saying, in the moment, just be in the moment for that moment, just so that you can just kind of like relax completely. So I loved it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye, my darling. Bye.